What would you do if the people closest to you demanded you give up everything your loved one built, unaware you'd already turned their legacy into millions? Clara stood at the edge of the dining room, her fingers tracing the rim of a crystal glass, her eyes fixed on the polished mahogany table where her in-laws sat. Their voices, sharp and insistent, filled the air like a storm gathering strength. "Sell it, Clara," Margaret, her mother-in-law, said, her tone slicing through the tension. "James's company is a burden you can't carry. It's what he would have wanted." Clara's jaw tightened. They didn't know. They couldn't know. She'd sold the company months ago, and the secret burned in her chest like a hidden ember. 6 months earlier, James had been the heart of their world. His tech startup, built from sleepless nights and audacious dreams, was his pride. Clara had been his partner in every since a late-night strategist, silent supporter, the one who believed when doubt crept in. When cancer took him, it didn't just steal her husband. It left her with a company teetering on the edge of collapse and a family convinced she was unfit to lead it. Margaret and her husband, Richard, had never approved of Clara. To them, she was the small-town girl who'd married above her station, a liability to James's legacy. They'd spent years undermining her, their smiles laced with condescension. Now, with James gone, their demands grew louder. "You're not equipped, dear," Richard had said at the funeral, his hand heavy on her shoulder. "Let us handle things." Clara had nodded then, her grief a mask for the resolve hardening inside her. She wasn't just James's widow, she was his successor. She'd spent months studying the company's books, meeting with investors, and navigating a world that thrived on ruthlessness. The company was bleeding money, but Clara saw its potential. Revolutionary software James had poured his soul into. She'd worked in secret, meeting with a buyer who saw what she did. Millions in untapped value. The deal had closed 3 months ago. $30 million, wired to an account only she knew about. She'd planned to tell the in-laws eventually, to prove she wasn't the failure they imagined. But their demands tonight: sell the company, give up James's dream, changed everything. They sat across from her now, their faces a mix of pity and authority, oblivious to the truth. "Why are you hesitating?" Margaret pressed, leaning forward. "Do you think you can run it? You're a schoolteacher, Clara, not a CEO." Clara's lips curved into a faint smile. The room felt smaller, the air charged with the weight of what she was about to say. "I don't need to run it," she said softly. "I sold it 3 months ago, for $30 million. The silence was deafening. Margaret's mouth opened, then closed. Richard's fork clattered against his plate. Clara let the moment stretch, savoring their shock. "I didn't tell you," she continued, her voice steady, "because I wanted to honor James's vision. The buyer believed in his work. They're taking it global. And the money? It's funding a foundation in his name, scholarships, research grants, everything he cared about." Margaret's face reddened. "You had no right," she sputtered. "That was our son's company." "It was my husband's company," Clara said, her voice rising with a fire she'd long suppressed. "And I was his partner. You never saw me as anything but a burden, but I was the one he trusted. I was the one who kept his dream alive when you told me to let it go." Richard stood, his chair scraping against the floor. "You hid this from us? You think you're clever, don't you?" Clara met his gaze, unflinching. "I think I'm capable. You assumed I wasn't because I don't fit your mold. But James believed in me, and I proved him right." The argument that followed was a blur of raised voices and accusations. Clara stood her ground, each word a release of the grief and anger she'd carried since James's death. She spoke of the nights she'd spent learning the business, the deals she'd negotiated, the future she'd secured. She wasn't just defending herself, she was defending James's faith in her. As her in-laws stormed out, their threats of legal action echoing, Clara felt a strange peace. She'd protected what mattered most. The money wasn't for her. It was for the world. James wanted to build a world of innovation, opportunity, and hope. That night, alone in their empty house, Clara opened James's old laptop. A photo of them smiled back from the screen, two dreamers against the odds. She touched his face, her tears falling softly. "We did it," she whispered. "You and me." The foundation launched a month later. Applications poured in from students and researchers, each one a testament to James's legacy. Clara never heard from her in-laws again. She didn't need their approval anymore. She'd found her strength, not in their validation, but in the love she and James had shared and the courage to carry it forward.